दोस्तों नमस्कार, मेरा नाम विपिन जैन है। आई एम फ्रॉम अपार कैपिटल एंड कंसल्टिंग। आज हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए उपलब्ध हैं विकास सिंघवी जी, जो कि बीएम सिक्योरिटीज़ के डायरेक्टर हैं। मार्केट के काफ़ी एक्सपर्ट्स हैं और बहुत ही डीप नॉलेज वो मार्केट की, स्टॉक मार्केट की रखते हैं। स्टॉक मार्केट में बड़ी भारी उथल पुथल मची हुई है और उस उथल पुथल का रीज़न सबको पता है। आपको हिडनबर्ग ने अदानी ग्रुप कंपनीज पर एक रिपोर्ट बनाई है जिसमें बहुत सारे उन्होंने आक्षेप लगाए हैं और उन आक्षेपों का अदानी ग्रुप ने अपने हिसाब से रिप्लाई भी दिए हैं। बट हम विकास जी से जानना चाहेंगे आज कि उनका अदानी ग्रुप और उनकी अदर लिस्टेड कंपनीज पे क्या उनका व्यू है। तो विकास जी, थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग टाइम टू टॉक ऑन अदानी ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज। तो सबसे पहले मैं आपसे यही जानना चाहूँगा कि आपको अदानी ग्रुप, अदानी एंटरप्राइजेज लिमिटेड और अदानी ग्रुप की जो अदर कंपनीज हैं उनके वैल्यूशन पे बहुत चर्चा हो रही है कि बहुत हाई वैल्यूशन है और मैनिपुलेटेड वैल्यूशन है, ऐसा बताया जा रहा है। तो आपका उस पर क्या व्यू है?
गुड आफ्टरनून। ये जो वैल्यूएशन है बहुत ही सब्जेक्टिव है। अब मेरे हिसाब से कोई चीज़ अंडर वैल्यूड हो सकती है, आपके हिसाब से वही चीज़ ओवर वैल्यूड हो सकती है। तो सामान्य रूप में अगर मैं कहूँ तो कभी भी वैल्यूएशन मेरे लिए जस्टिफाइबल हो सकती है, दूसरे के लिए अनजस्टिफाइबल हो सकती है। तो वैल्यूएशन इज जस्ट मतलब मैटर ऑफ डिमांड एंड सप्लाई। ओके, बट देयर हैज टू बी सम बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स बियॉन्ड दैट ऑल्सो। Okay, it cannot be just mere demand and supply. But right now, what is happening out there in the market is that, specifically, I'm speaking about Adani Group. यहाँ उन्होंने एक FPO लेके आए हैं 20,000 करोड़ का। अब उसी बीच में आप देख रहे हो कि US की एक रिसर्च कंपनी ने जहाँ खाली केवल 5 लोग मात्र काम करते हैं, उन्होंने एक एलिगेशन लगाया है कि they have done price manipulation, the prices are inflated, so many things they have put on board. Near around they have raised around 88 questions. Okay, but मूल बात ये है कि whether जो अदानी एंटरप्राइज का जो वैल्यूएशन है वो आज के डेट में जो वो FPO लेके आ रहे हैं वो जस्टिफाइबल है या नहीं। मेरे हिसाब से जस्टिफाइबल है। अब क्यों जस्टिफाइबल है? क्योंकि अदानी एंटरप्राइज एक होल्डिंग कंपनी है, उसके अंदर काफ़ी सब्सिडरीज हैं। ओके, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ दी जो सब्सिडरीज हैं वो एक काइंड ऑफ स्टार्टअप है, लाइक ग्रीन एनर्जी, गैस, टोटल गैस, ऑल दीज आर काइंड ऑफ इंक्यूबेशन पीरियड में है, मतलब जस्ट बिगनिंग ऑफ दी स्टेज में है और उनका वैल्यू अनलॉकिंग आप आज के हिसाब से नहीं देख सकते। आपको 10 साल, 15 साल, 20 साल के हिसाब से देखना पड़ेगा व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वैल्यू दे कैन डिराइव। ओके, और व्हाट वैल्यूएशन दे कैन क्रिएट इन नेक्स्ट 10, 15, 20 odd years. Okay, so if we see that kind of if we have that kind of outlook and if we do valuation according to that, then they have enough of asset to take care of their debt and even their interest. Okay, आज के डेट में अगर हम देखें तो उनकी EBITDA इतनी अच्छी है कि वो इंटरेस्ट को आराम से रीपे कर सकते हैं। ओके, और बैंकों का भी, इंडियन बैंकों का भी एक्सपोजर अराउंड $6 billion है। दैट इज नॉट दैट ग्रेट इनफ। एंड उनका ओवरऑल ग्रॉस डेट अराउंड $30 billion के पास है। कैश उनके पास $4 billion का है, तो नेट डेट उनके पास $26 billion का हुआ। और उनका EBITDA काफ़ी अच्छा है कि वो $26 billion का जो डेट है उसकी जो इंटरेस्ट सालाना जो आएगी उसको आराम से वो रीपे कर सकते हैं। यहाँ रिस्क क्या होता है? यहाँ रिस्क होता है एग्जीक्यूशन रिस्क। और लास्ट 20 ईयर्स में उन्होंने दिखा दिया कि किस कदर से वो बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स को एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं। एंड इंडिया इज अ ग्रोइंग स्टोरी। ओके, इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज अ ग्रोइंग स्टोरी। सो गोइंग बाय दैट, एंड दे आर इनटू रोड, दे आर इनटू पोर्ट्स, दे आर इनटू एयरपोर्ट्स, they are into all those kind of things which have a long which require long investment time horizon. Okay, so अगर कोई बंदा उस कंपनी में लगाना चाहता है तो उसके पास लॉन्गर टाइम होराइजन होना चाहिए। इसीलिए आप देखोगे कि पेंशन फंड, सोवरेन फंड वगैरह वगैरह अदानी ग्रुप में इन्वेस्टमेंट करे हैं। पहले भी कर रहे हैं और अभी भी कर रहे हैं। तो वो इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि दे नो कि काइंड ऑफ रिटर्न दे वुड बी मेकिंग फ्रॉम दोज प्रोजेक्ट्स इज अराउंड रफली अराउंड 15 to 20 odd %। 15% अगर मान के चलिए, अगर वो 15% भी बनाते हैं और वो इंटरेस्ट देते हैं 9%, तो invariably they will be earning 6% on that very asset, and all the debt which they are raising are backed up by an asset, okay, and those are real assets. Those are not fictitious asset or assets in thin air. Those are real assets like port, like airport, like even coal mines and all. Those are real assets and they have an inherited value out there in it, okay. Now since they have either they are buying the airports and ports inorganically or they are building up. Now what I was saying earlier is that once the gestation period is over, the project commences and then it starts generating revenue, okay, but the time lag in between the starting of the project and the in between the starting laying down the stone foundation of the project and commencement of the project, there is a good amount of time. That time is around 7 to 8 years or 4 to 5 years in these kind of projects. It is a huge time, okay, and generally in other industry nobody likes to wait for that kind of time frame. So here the revenue comes after a certain point in time, so that's why it's a kind of a longer duration kind of a project, and that's why all the pension fund and the sovereign funds invest into it. And when we take care of that, when we try to get the NPV of all these kind of projects, okay, we have to look 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line, okay, and more or less you will find that in most of the projects they have raised the money at a very low rate, okay, and more you go for a long term duration borrowing, okay, the rates are on the lower end, okay, because then the volatility right now which we are seeing out there in the bond market even gets normalized if you take a duration of more than 10 years kind of a borrowing, okay. So if we see those things into account, their NPV is very lucrative in most of the projects, okay, even if the interest rate have inched up by 200-300 basis points recently, that will not have a that will have impact, but not a meaningful impact that the NPV will become zero or it will be negative, because their projects are long term projects, as I stated earlier also. Now coming back to the point whether these projects where they have bid and where they have won, those projects are good enough, viable enough to justify those kind of valuation. Yes, if you see, India is a growing story, so in all the projects their revenue will keep on increasing till the time India is growing, and over and above that there is something known as inflation, okay. The prices of in each of those projects will also increase, not only because of higher number of users, but also because of rise in the price of that service, whether it is port or whether it is airport or whether it is coal, everything will keep on increasing. So on both the accounts their profitability will keep on increasing year on year, and when we do the back calculation carrying out all the future revenue into the present value terms, and even if we discount by 12%, still we will see that there is lot of wealth generation which would be taking place in next 15 to 20 years. So I am very positive about Adani Group per se. I think these are the opportunities when people should invest into these kind of companies. But with regard to I cannot say per se with all the Adani Group companies, but with regard to Ambuja, but with regard to Adani Ports, but with regard to Adani Enterprise, definitely there is a valuation, okay, definitely there is a valuation, because green energy, that is a kind of a futuristic thing. So right now we cannot state okay what kind of value we can derive, but the value will be amazing going in future, because what we can see that is the way forward out there in energy, okay. If that is the way forward, definitely the value would be derived out there in Adani Green also. That's all from my side.
So Vikas ji, as you opinion that ki if with the Adani Group companies valuation perspective, we have to see longer term perspective,
yeah.
And today's valuation justifies because in future there will be very good revenue generation and very good EBITDA generation in these companies.
Revenue generation will take place on two accounts. More users will need those things, so revenue will be much more than that. Also, inflation will also come into account, that will increase the prices of the service. So if you take both the factors into consideration for next 10-15 years and thereafter discount it even by 12%, the kind of money they will be making is huge. And most of the projects where they have gone out there in these verticals are for a long gestation period. In some it is 20 years, some 30, some 40, some 50. So time frame is huge, and that's why they have bid it so aggressively, because they know what is the inherited value. Most of the projects are not what people think. It is much more than that, because right now, even if suppose we are giving airport charge certain 300, 400, whatever money, that 10 years down the line it will be much more than that, and the prices will not remain where it is right now. In most of the cases, prices will keep on increasing, because like today 100 rupees value will not be the 100 rupees value in next 10 years. The 100 rupees value will diminish. So 100 rupees will become immaterial. Even if they charge 100 rupees more, people will not be people will be willing to pay. They will not be shocked, okay, because that time 100 rupees will be as good as 10 rupees or less than that. So people will not make gung-ho about it. But it will be kind of normal, okay, they will increase certain percentage, that is nominal. That's what I will say.
Right. So valuation के बाद विकास जी, अब हम अदानी ग्रुप कंपनीज के डेट्स की थोड़ी सी बात करते हैं. तो अभी जो हम देख रहे हैं, अदानी एंटरप्राइजेज और अदानी ग्रुप की अदर जो लिस्टेड कंपनीज हैं, उनके डेट्स बहुत हाई हैं. that goes 3 times to 5-6 times of the equity, and because of these debts, if they have not diluted much their equity, and as they are expanding very fast, so they have chosen the path to raise the debts and invest in the companies. So where you see that whether this high debt is a risk, or Adani Group will be able to manage that risk?
Here we have to look 2-3 things. First of all, the industry in which they are, those are very capital intensive, okay, and since the group want to go, I'll say a bit fast, okay, they want to do growth a bit fast, so you require huge amount of capital, okay. Equity is constant because every group has a limited amount of equity with them, okay. So they have to rely on debt. Now those debts are being backed up by real asset, okay. Since they are backed up by real asset, and execution will not be a problem, because they have demonstrated earlier in the past that they are capable enough to execute all kind of projects, small, large, whatever, okay. And government is also helping them to execute the projects, because government is business, pro-government is there, so they are helping the industry stalwarts to execute the projects and in a timely manner, okay. So if the execution takes place in timely manner, as I told you earlier, that all the debts which they are raising is backed up by an asset, and if they can generate the income in timely manner, then definitely debt will not be a problem, nor the interest payment, because the interest payment will be only 60% or 65% of the revenue generation. Rest 35% net, I am saying, will be the profitability. Since that kind of a profit they would be generating, so within, I'll say, 3 to 5 years, you will see, if they keep on executing like this, their debt will come down drastically. Okay, and if the debt comes down drastically, the whole scenario, the whole dynamics, the whole metrics of this Adani Group changes. Okay, then the PE also changes, everything changes. Okay, so those things we have to take into consideration, whether the debt, whatever debt they are raising, is backed up by an asset or not, and whether they are able to execute in right time frame. If they are, if the assets are backed up, if the debt are being backed up by the asset, and they are able to execute within the certain specified time frame, okay, then there will be no issues. But if they are unable to execute the project in time frame, then on that asset, okay, because that asset is being raised by debt, the interest component will again attract interest. The interest on interest keep on starts compiling. So only risk out over here is execution, because all the debt, whatever they have raised, is backed up by an asset.
Which is very remote, as you say. They have already demonstrated that they are very good execution part. There is very good.
Look,
in all the
with Adani Group,
companies.
I foresee only two risks. Okay, execution risk is there and policy risk. If the government changes policy in near future, or the new government comes and changes the policy in near future, that is a very big risk for this group. Second is the execution risk. If they cannot take care of the politics, okay, or the policies of the government, okay, because that is not in their hand. What is in their hand is the execution. If they can keep on demonstrating the execution what they have demonstrated earlier, then there is no risk. As simple as that.
ठीक है. Last question, because from you or your opinion on that. हिडनबर्ग ने जो अपनी रिपोर्ट दी है उसमें उन्होंने एक आक्षेप लगाया है कि अदानी एंटरप्राइजेज एंड उसकी ग्रुप कंपनीज में बाहर टैक्स हेवन कंट्रीज में सेल कंपनीज के थ्रू अदानी ग्रुप की कंपनीज में इन्वेस्टमेंट आया है, एंड दैट थ्रू दैट इन्वेस्टमेंट दे हैव मैनिपुलेटेड द प्राइस ऑफ द शेयर्स. सो वहां से इन्वेस्टमेंट आया और उसको हाई वैल्यूज पे उन्होंने यहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट किया. तो इसमें आपका क्या व्यू है? क्या ये उनका जो आक्षेप है वो आपको लगता है कि ठीक है, या दैट इज ओके, और व्हाट इज योर व्यूज ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट?
There are so many institutions like SEBI, exchanges, government, RBI, and so many bodies are there, rating agencies, audit firms, okay, and since they have become so very big, they are in eyes of each and every institution. They are in the radar of each of the eyes of every institution. So I don't think so they can skip so very easily. And with regard to investment from various groups, like if I am owning a company and somebody is investing into me, it is not my department to find out who has invested per se and from where the source of money is coming from. Okay.
That was also one akshep ki source of fund is not known.
His source of fund from, I don't know, maybe whatever sources, but at the same point in time, it's not the company prerogative to know what is the source of fund which the investor is putting into. Okay, from where that money is coming in, he is only aware about the shareholders, who are the shareholders of the company. He can abide by that by giving the details of the person who are the shareholders of the company. But in no respect he is liable to say, okay, this is the shareholder, this is his source of money, because I am not supposed to know how the shareholders has got the money. That is not my jurisdiction. Okay.
A regulator will
that is not my
do their due diligence.
They have already stated that these are the name of the shareholders, these are the owners of the company, these are the stakeholders of the company. That's all. That's what they can do. They cannot go beyond that. Okay. Because that is not the area of their functioning. Okay, they are into business. Okay, there are various stakeholders, various shareholders invest into companies. They cannot find out, okay, who has got this money and how this money has got to him and how he has invested to me. That is not the company's prerogative. Okay, if they start doing all these things, they will stop doing the business. That is not their business. That is the things of the regulator and the other things. Whatever they have given in the report is self-sufficient. They have given sufficient material, and they are in this space from quite a long time. And now the things are becoming very stringent, because this is the age of social media, and everything is known to everybody. Okay. Suddenly once in a blue moon somebody comes and put 88 allegations. Okay, I think they have just used the timing of the FPO. That's all. I think everything will be taken care at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas ji, for giving us time and talk about the Adani Group companies and all that. So friends, my name is Vipin Jain and I belongs to Apaar Capital, and we are into the market, and here I want to give disclaimer also from the Vikas Singhvi ji, who is owner of VM Securities, and from my side also, we by doing this video, we are not advising to invest in Adani Group companies. It's your due diligence, your research, and you can access to your financial advisor to take advice to invest or not invest, etc. We are not giving any advice, and we are not a registered SEBI registered advisor and all that. This is our own research and Vikas ji's own research and my questions, and he has answered. Thank you so much आज बात करने के लिए, एंड दोबारा हम अगेन नए टॉपिक को लेके आपके सामने फिर से आएंगे. थैंक यू सो मच.